And this is the thing what I love about this movie. This movie is perfectly fine knowing that all this over-the-top romantic stuff is nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's stupid in hindsight. Not saying like, it's not mean-spirited to say like, oh, romance is horrible.
Yeah.
It's not mean-spirited that way. But the ones which seem very try-hard, these are the people I hate. And so when they die absolutely disgustingly horribly, it's amazing. There's a sequence where all I'm saying is, let's just say they're in a vineyard. One person falls into a particular place, and now they're in bottles.
Hello, welcome back to Enigmatic Retro Rewind, and we're bringing back Cult versus Current. This is where we look at a current movie that's out and we compare it to one cult movie, two cult movies. A lot of cult movies that look like they've got this new movie has got the DNA of these old movies in.
Yes.
So it's like we do that and we bring it back because we love this series.
Yes, I'm almost doing it. So it's good because lots of new movies coming out, obviously, I want to talk about. But, there's also trying to find the stuff that connects to it. Yeah. Luckily, there's a new movie that's just been out, which I got to see before the UK launch.
Awesome.
So I got to see about a week before it launches in the UK.
Yeah.
Which is Heart Eyes.
For the past 2 years, a masked maniac known as the Hard Eyes Killer has stalked,
hunted,
and brutally slain couples on Valentine's Day.
With no motive yet uncovered.
This is more than just murder. He's like Cupid with a kink.
We're being chased by a fucking serial killer.
Hey, you good?
Yeah. He's gonna keep killing people. We end it here.
Hey, come on.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy V-Day!
Get killed, all right?
What was...
Why would he say that?
Excellent. So this is right up our street, isn't it? This is on brand for us.
It's on brand. It's a kind of like, it's slasher horror, slightly nostalgic, also wants to purposely ruin a holiday. You know, the whole kind of trick that we do.
I mean, there must be like a horror movie like about every sort of like holiday now. Well, not that Valentine's is a holiday, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, actually, there's probably a long list of it. So, for example, I know that April Fool's Day has a holiday. Happy Birthday, which is one of my personal favourites. Honestly, it's weird as hell.
Is it Happy Birthday to Me?
Happy Birthday to You, I think it is.
All right.
Happy Birthday to You, and you have the famous picture of the guy in a shish kebab. That's the one.
What's that got to do with birthday?
Oh, it's brilliant. We've also got Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
Every holiday.
Thanksgiving now.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There's every holiday.
And there are loads of Christmas ones, obviously.
Yes. Yeah. But, I'm waiting for, I'm actually kind of waiting for a holiday that I've never heard of from, from a different country to suddenly have, this weird slasher movie vibe to it. But that's the thing, is, holidays are almost rife to do something weird in it.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I got to see Heart Eyes. And I like it. I'll just say it off the bat.
So you went in completely blind to this?
100%.
You hadn't even seen the trailer. You just was aware of the mask.
Yes. So on social media, all I knew was that the killer wears a mask with hearts on it, which is adorable, weird, a bit camp, and that's all I knew.
Yeah.
Didn't see a trailer until we saw the reaction from this one. And I think the trailer kind of ruins it. Because if I didn't see the trailer, there's a couple of horrible, gory murders, and it's kind of revealed in there. I'm like, buddy, like you should have kept that. You know, hold your cards a bit, you know.
This is the problem with modern day trailers. They do show a lot of stuff in there. I try to avoid them, but obviously being a content creator, you end up watching them and like talking about them a lot anyway. Or where I go to cinema so much, I can't like just do this throughout the entire trailer section.
Do you know what I genuinely wish? I wish that you could pay a fee where you maybe pay an extra £1 more to just not have trailers play in front of your movie.
Yeah.
So it doesn't ruin things. Because like I said, watching Heart Eyes, the trailer, before now watching it, it revealed like 2 of the coolest deaths. But it's good overall. Watching it as a surprise, I generally had fun. I watched it with my partner.
Yeah.
We went there, surprise screening. So literally it was one of those where all it said was mystery screening. Okay. So we bought tickets to that, not having a clue what the movie was. Yeah. And it had a big Heart Eyes, which is at the time of recording, Heart Eyes is coming out literally next week. So it's coming out on Valentine's Day of the time of filming, while I watched it the week before.
Yeah. So I'd seen the trailer before. Yeah. The last time, bringing up the whole mystery screening thing, the last time I went to see one of these mystery screenings, it was Terrifier 3.
Yay!
So, I mean, when we talk about the gore levels and the campness, we're not talking Terrifier 3 levels.
No. The Terrifier movies are in our own special camp. Yeah. Like, Terrifiers are genuinely some of the most disgusting movies on the planet. Yeah. Like, and look, I'm not like, oh no, but that movie's like, you said that, come on, like that's my vibe.
Yeah, it's another level. It's on its own level, really.
Exactly. But to me, we're something like Heart Eyes. Heart Eyes as a movie concept is just a bit funny. And the good thing is it's self-aware.
Okay.
And so the camp and gore levels are incredibly stupid. Yeah. Because the whole movie is, what if you do the premise for a romantic comedy, but then add a slasher movie killer in it? Yeah. That's the premise. Okay. Right? And most of these people are absolutely hateful. Like, you hate these people. So it makes it even funnier when they get horribly murdered. In some really nasty ways. Yeah. Like there's some horrible murders. So I'll show you the ones in the trailer, for example, which bloody ruins it. There's a guy who's a photographer who's supposed to be taking a photo from a distance of an engagement. And it's a running joke for some reason, because they're like, I want his engagement to be perfect and I want a secret surprise photo from a distance. I'm thinking, who does this? And then a machete through the lens, through the camera, through the person's eye.
It reminds me of Scream 2. Yes. With the knife through the cubicle in the toilet.
Yes.
And then in the scary movie, they did a parody of it, and it was a penis going through.
It's a glory hole. Yeah. It's amazing. But
so that whole thing just reminds me of that, which is great. So it knows what it's doing then. Yeah.
It's 100%. Basically, the first 3 minutes is a sequence in the first 3 minutes of the movie, which is sort of like this couple trying to get the perfect engagement. You soon realize later on that it's horribly scripted. Like, it's horribly scripted. They just want to have the photo to say like, we've got this beautiful like engagement in a fucking like vineyard in a vineyard with the whole like, it's the most staged. And this is the thing what I love about this movie. This movie is perfectly fine knowing that all this over-the-top romantic stuff is nonsense. Yeah. And it's stupid in hindsight. Not saying like, it's not mean-spirited to say like, oh, romance is horrible. Yeah. It's not mean-spirited that way. But the ones which seem very try-hard, like especially in this case, like the fiance, she's wording every word out that he's saying, because obviously she scripted this and saying this is how you do it. Yeah. And you're like, oh god, I hate these are the people I hate. And so when they die absolutely disgustingly horribly, it's amazing. There's a sequence where all I'm saying is let's just say they're in a vineyard. One person falls into a particular place, and now they're in bottles. But it's so from the first 3 minutes that it's over the top. Yeah. It knows what it's doing. It's self-aware comedy nonsense. It is not scary, but it's because it'd rather have you have a good time. And it's funny. It's a good time in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to me like it's a popcorn horror. But I'm hoping that it's going to be for people who are like sort of grumpy about Valentine's Day because they're single or whatever, but also couples going, just having a good time as well. You know, like it seems like it could fit for both. You know,
I think it does because the idea is that the movie itself is it's somewhat cynical about the corporate idea of romance. The idea of roses and love times, you know, the really over-elaborate form of romance.
Yeah.
But really romance is an emotional feeling where you're supposed to just like each other's company and willing to just go a little bit of extra effort to do that. Do you know what's romantic for me? If someone makes me breakfast in bed.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah. I don't need to say like, we need to go to this place and I need doves, loads of doves.
Right.
And all this stuff. Like, you don't need that.
So is he angry at the commercialisation of Valentine's
100%.
Day? Oh, so that's great. That's what I'm
absolutely
hoping.
hates the commercialisation of romance. When romance should be something that's natural.
Yeah.
But then you've got our two characters, our two leads, who are the sort of like, you've got, obviously, again, another trope, the idea they both work in marketing, which is another romantic comedy trope. Yeah. You notice, like, this is the thing, it's like, it's trying to poke fun of romantic comedies, where, for example, most romantic comedies, everyone's in a very decent, well-paid job. You don't have someone going, you don't have someone going like, oh, I'm barely getting by. No, they all got very decent jobs.
Yeah.
Very decent wages.
Middle class people problems, kind of.
100%. You know, and they also do the meet cute with the coffee thing, and like it's leaning into the romantic comedy tropes and the slasher movie tropes, and trying to make them feel like they're kind of similar, except one's about at the end of the day, someone wants to like have a big cuddle, and the other one just wants to murder you. They're both the same build-up, I guess. And so that's what this movie kind of does. It's really kind of funny in that way.
Okay. So should we talk a bit about who's the director of this? Should we talk a bit about that? Have you looked it up?
I haven't seen who the director is.
Well, let's just look it up and talk about that, because we might be able to see what else they've done. And also...
See, there's a similar vibe?
Yeah. Well, I think Werewolves Within is one of the movies he's done.
For me, though, if I was going to compare this to other movies, it's things like Thanksgiving, but also Happy Death Day.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. It has that kind of tone to it. And it's also got, like, it's also a little bit, in terms of how dumb it can get, a little bit like Malignant. But Malignant is like, I
love Malignant.
But do you know how Malignant is like, it's...
But I wasn't prepared for it.
No, but do you know how dumb that movie gets?
Oh, yeah.
To the point where you're sitting there going, what? It doesn't get that dumb, but there is a weird escalation of like, you have to go along with this because otherwise your brain will hurt.
So Josh Rubin is the director of Heart Eyes.
Yes.
So he's known for Scare Me. Well, he's in it. He's in Scare Me.
Yes.
Werewolves Within. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, is that the Disney one? Or is that something else? No, Werewolves Within. Oh, it's like that movie where basically everyone's a werewolf, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just aware of that one. I've not seen it. And he's mostly an actor, but he's also directed some stuff and written some things as well. Like, but nothing that's massive.
Yeah.
Just the stuff that I think he's been in the game for a while, but he's kind of emerging a bit more now.
I get that.
By the look of it.
I'm curious.
Scare Me as well. I think he wrote that.
Yeah.
Well, he might have directed it. Let's have a look. He directed that, and he's also in it, and he wrote it. So Scare Me is another one, which is...
So I think I know who Josh Rubin is, actually. Just click on his picture again, just so we have a look at him. Because I think I've seen him. Yes, so Josh Rubin, he is a comedian.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of things for, like, online comedian stuff, so Josh Rubin. But he's a comedian, which makes all the sense in the world when you look at something like Heart Eyes and all these other stuff. He likes horror movies, but he generally likes the goofiness of it all. So yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. So he's done a lot of like TV comedy stuff and like online stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense when you look at the comedy value, how the movie leans more into the humor and the meta-ness of it all more than anything else, than trying to be scary. And it's really, really funny in that sense. Like I said, there's one of my favorite jokes in the movie is obviously advertising campaign has going on, and literally we're launching a whole new we have an advertising campaign for this jewelry, right? And the commercial is fundamentally just like till death do us part.
Okay.
bad timing when there's a serial killer who kills couples every Valentine's Day. And the whole idea is like, this will love you, and these diamonds will last till you die. But the whole point is that you see like romantic scenes like Romeo and Juliet, but also see all the bloody murder happening with like ribbons and stuff like that. A Titanic, but you know, when there's clearly space on the bloody door, Jack falls into the goddamn sea, and you know, Bonnie and Clyde, and so you see this and go like, this is a tone-deaf commercial anyway. The fact that they happen to have still shot it is hilarious. And so this is where you get the other guy come in and try and fix it. So it just knows that it hates the idea of the bastardization of romancing, like corporatization, commercialization of romance. And why Valentine's Day just feels not like what it should be in that sense. Like, you know, well, you don't need a day to tell somebody you love them.
No. I'm just trying to look up. There was someone on the trailer that looked familiar. Oh, he's in Scream 5.
That explains
Scream 6.
So, yeah, which is, I believe, he's Mason Golding. I believe he's the male lead.
Okay,
you know, he's a love interest. But the idea with that is, like, this is what I love about, like, that thing is, like, a bunch of unknown people. There's not somebody sitting there going, I recognize that person. And I miss movies that do not require star power. Because I'm tired of, you know, like, for example, like, I love certain films, but, you know, if you want to say, oh, I want to do something real and gritty and whatever it is, and you see Brad Pitt, you're already instantly lured off because, like, you're not a real person, you're Brad Pitt. Pitt's not a real person.
Having said that, I am excited about the new Mission Impossible.
Of course you are. But you know what I mean? Like, there's star power movies, but I like movies like Heart Eyes, where it's like, I don't recognize barely anyone, so I can enjoy the movie. I'm not lured and say like, oh, that thing's there, that thing's there. No, there's a whole bunch of, what clearly is like second-tier actors, people starting off something big, doing something a little bit silly, and really good stuff.
So in preparation for this, we reacted to some other Valentine's Day horrors.
Yes.
Is there any of that inspiration in Heart Eyes, or did you think they're completely different beasts?
Well, I wouldn't call them all different beasts. I feel like, okay, so looking back at something more along the lines of Valentine.
He loves me.
Spend this Valentine's Day.
He loves me not.
With someone you love.
He loves me.
Someone you trust.
He loves me not.
And someone you know.
He loves me.
Won't try to kill you.
Will you dance with me? Dance with me? Dance with me? Dance with me?
Remember the kid everybody ignored on Valentine's Day?
Loser.
Well, he remembers you.
God, we were so horrible to that kid.
What do you think happened to him?
Same vibe.
Right.
I think that has the same kind of vibe, except Valentine, I think, is trying to take itself way too seriously. And that's why I think it's going to be naff as balls.
Well, a lot of those revival slashers from the 90s and noughties, they were super serious, weren't they?
Yeah, but and even when they were being meta, they were like meta serious. You know what I mean? Like they weren't trying to be goofy. And the thing with Heart Eyes was goofy. Valentine looks goofy, but I think it's taking itself way too seriously.
Yeah, so it's from the producers of Scream, so it's kind of, it's definitely aware of its inspiration. Kind of thing.
It's got that tone, doesn't it? So in terms of the other movies, it has a few little tidbits to it. I feel like, you know, Lover's Lane has got that kind of visual tone as well, but again, it's more that one with Lover's Lane, which looked absolutely nasty.
That looked garbage.
Do you want to talk about it? This anger? This rage? Let's talk about that night. You went up there just like always, to watch them, doing what you dreamed of doing. You killed those two young people. You took that steel hook and you butchered them.
13 years ago,
a brutal killer struck.
Bye-bye, Mommy.
Hey, sexy. So we on? Tonight? Ears up, clothes off.
Today is Valentine's Day, and I know you all have love on your minds.
Be careful.
Hi there. The hell do you want?
Brad and I are going out to Lover's Lane. Make sure that Michael finds us there.
Now, it looks like history,
Oh, good God.
is about to repeat itself.
Chloe. The hook's out. He went over a wall today.
Police have still failed to apprehend escaped murderer Ray Hennessy, convicted 13 years ago for the Valentine's Day slaying of a young couple on a remote road known as Lover's Lane.
This time it'll be our kids.
Do you think this guy's on a vendetta? That's just plain crazy.
It's on!
Where are they?
Try Lover's Lane if you can find it.
Did you hear something?
Oh, come on. Don't tell me that you're scared.
Lover's Lane.
Absolute garbage.
That's garbage lane. Garbage lane.
Garbage lane.
From 1999.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd only been slightly aware of that movie. I've never seen it.
It's like we said, like there's a weird like subgenre of movies especially from stuff from the 90s and 2000s where you probably saw a poster for it or you probably saw the video when you went to Blockbuster. You've never seen it in your life, you know it exists. Yeah. There's loads of them, especially horror and action movies. Like you find, like even now you're still discovering like, that's a movie? That existed?
Yeah. And what the funny thing is about those movies, I was sort of getting into the slasher genre when they were coming out. So they kind of got me a little bit because I wasn't kind of used to horror so much. So the jumps and the kind of jump scares and like the horror elements were quite strong at the time. Like Scream, when I first saw Scream, I thought it was horrific, like especially the opening.
Yeah.
But like, and then even things like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Halloween H2O, all those kind of those movies were like quite sort of scary at the time. You go back and watch them now.
Tame in comparison.
Very, very tame. And you might even get just like a cut to black on the stab or something like that. So it's kind of like, you don't see any gore sometimes.
I'll tell you something though, with that's the thing. It's like, it feels, I think it's because it's like, this is mostly where most teenagers were discovering their version of their movies, right? So we were teenagers and young people discovering that, you know, but if we saw stuff from the 70s, you're like, that's disgusting. 80s disgusting. 90s and 2000s became like, they knew their market. Teenagers. So we can't make it nasty gore because otherwise they won't go and watch it.
Yeah.
So they have to do this weird tame stuff, but every so often we'll do something shocking, like the disembowelment in the opening scene of Scream, which is like, that's actually kind of gross. That's cool. But there's nothing ever matches that grossness again throughout the whole movie.
No, so we reacted to My Bloody Valentine. That seems like super. I don't think I've seen that. I know it's sacrilege, like be a horror fan, not seen that because it's kind of a well-known movie.
Yes.
But it looks very like from the era of the mean-spirited slasher movie.
It's a bad time, this time of year. How many times is he gonna tell this story?
Oh, let him tell it. I love fairy tales.
This ain't no fairy tale, little girl. If you don't take it seriously, you're a fool!
In this town on Valentine's Day, everybody loses their heart.
Roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you.
It can't be happening again.
Stop!
It can't be happening again.
What's going on over in Valentine Bluffs? It looks like Harry Warden's back in town.
It happened once. It happened twice. Cancel the dance or it'll happen twice.
In the town of Valentine Bluffs, there are many ways to die. Take your pick. My bloody Valentine.
Very much so.
Yeah, no jokes in this one kind of thing.
I've seen that one, and I've also seen the remake with 3D.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so the whole point of My Bloody Valentine is, even though it's also on Valentine's Day, it's very little connected to it. The idea is that they're actually in the town of Valentine. And so in the town of Valentine, which is an old miners' city, basically, so all that happens, they celebrate Valentine's Day as a big celebrate because, duh. You know, you're the big city of it. But obviously there's been some horrible murders involving the miners and someone dressed as a miner. That's why you got the whole thing to it.
Okay.
Now, when it launched in 1981, it was a lot gorier than that.
Yeah.
But a lot of things, it was cut down a lot in order to be shown. Otherwise, it would have been an X.
Oh, okay.
Like hard, like, no way we're going to show this. It's too gory.
Yeah.
So they mutilated it down to... so a version you saw was a horribly censored version of it.
Okay.
And it was only until 2020 where they found enough of the original footage to put it into a new cut. But it doesn't have the same remastered kind of thing. Do you know when you look at we found exclusive footage and it's still the grainy negative stuff?
Like the trailer we watched looked like the original dirty 35mm.
So dirty.
Yeah, it might have even been 16mm that, because it was good. The quality of it wasn't great, was it?
My God. Someone cleaned that. It generally won't quite bad at that point. But the movie isn't bad. It is very mean-spirited. That's the thing, with a lot of holiday horrors, half the time they are being cynical on the holiday.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to it, or they just say Mother's Day, what happens if your mother wants to murder you? Stuff like that. Happy birthday. Oh, another year of your birth, but also murder. They always try to be cynical of why these holidays exist. Or the tropes of it. So Thanksgiving is another one I feel very close to Heart Eyes, feels like, in terms of it. It's goofy as balls. It's goofy as hell. But it's down to, it's poking fun of the holiday, but also in a not that much of a mean-spirited way. It hates the kind of tropey nonsense of that holiday.
Yes.
Same with Thanksgiving. But it also respects, to a degree, what Thanksgiving should be about, which is about family and, bonding through this whole thing. But also it's saying it's now just Turkey Day and so on and so forth. So it just kind of pokes fun of the pilgrims, the Turkey Day, the whole idea this holiday is kind of a,
And Black Friday as well.
Yeah, Black Friday, which is horrendous Black Friday. So you see where I'm coming from? So it wants to poke fun of these holidays. It's why when you watch a horror movie about Christmas, it's quite mean-spirited about Christmas, but not it doesn't show what the meaning of Christmas is. It just kind of wants to go and say Santa's fucked up. Let's just
they're always rebelling against the idea of the holiday, aren't they?
Yeah. And Heart Eyes does that, but also it says the commercial stuff's awful, but genuinely finding the love of your life is a wonderful feeling, despite the fact that in this case is you find the love of your life when there's a horrible killer chasing after both of you. And there's a lot of inside jokes and a lot of jokes in between about the idea is you ditched me. No, I didn't ditch you. I was being chased by a serial killer. You still ditched me. So there's an ongoing joke where it's she ditched. She's such a ditcher.
This movie, Heart Eyes, is kind of what you expected, or in terms of that kind of subgenre movie? Would you want anything more from it, or
the thing is, because I went there completely blind, it blew away my expectations.
Okay.
So it's a fun movie. It's dumb as hell. So don't try and think of this logically. There's literally two cops called Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
And they even make a reference to it. It's so your name's Hobbs and Shaw, like the movie? It's I've never seen the movie before in my life. So they know this. So the fact that he knows it's dumb allows any weird leaps of logic to be out the flipping window.
Okay.
So you have fun with that, right? And so I enjoyed it. If I was going to watch it again, it's a 3 out of 5 movie. It's not going to blow my mind.
Three hearts out of 5.
It's 3 hearts out of 5, right? Would I watch it again? Probably. But I know it's because it's goofy, right? It isn't a movie I'm going to say, this is a game changer.
No.
It isn't a game changer. A game changer is a 5.
But would it be a rewatch on Valentine's Day week kind of thing?
Maybe once in a while. If I want something to laugh at and also just see the gore effects of, someone getting horribly decapitated. then yeah, I want that. Okay. Or like the double penetration sequence you see in the trailer. You didn't see that. That's what I mean. Like we joked about it. My partner said, that's double penetration. It is double penetration. But you're sitting there going like, why did you show that in the trailer? That is genuinely a nasty sequence that in the cinema, me and everyone went, ooh. Everyone going, ooh. Like we literally, I've heard gasp of like literal disgust. Like gross.
Cool.
So
how does this, in terms of like Valentine's horrors, how does this rank in what we've watched and also others you want to include?
Well, it's a good one because the fact like, I think it's because, right, it knows that Valentine's Day as a holiday kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's not a great holiday. In fact, the movie says, it actually, at one point in the movie, the lead actress, our lead hero, looks at a statue of St. Valentine, who's got his head decapitated, because that's part of the story, by the way. Generally nasty. And then she goes like, your holiday fucking sucks. Yeah. And it does suck. But I think it's because it's a comedy more than anything else. It's lighthearted, it's fun. And so for me, it's better than most of these other Valentine's Day ones because the other Valentine's Day ones are probably just more too mean-spirited.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've grown beyond mean-spiritedness now. Like, it's fun once in a while to watch something that's quite mean-spirited. But if you want to watch a whole movie to enjoy yourself, you don't want something that kind of feels like it's taking too many jabs.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of rewatch value in mean-spirited horrors. They kind of make you feel a bit dirty sometimes, don't they? Like,
I mean, some of them are good.
Yeah.
But there's some which you feel like, no, you're just being... Again, it's kind of the reason why you say, like, this... I think I see Terrifier, for example, Terrifier movies as a whole, to just be... I think it's just genuinely mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I think those movies are genuinely mean-spirited.
There are funny elements in them, but like... but because of the violence is so strong that it's kind of like, well, I don't know how many times I can watch that. Other people would disagree and watch them loads, but...
I think for me, with something like Terrifier, is that it's mean-spirited because you sit there and you think going, they do not deserve this level of nasty gore. And that's mean. You know, like I mean, sometimes we just want to stab through the eye. Cool, right? But you don't want something to get there going like, okay, now we're gonna saw you in half from the privates up.
Yeah, I mean, I am when I see movies that are that gory, I am kind of happy that I've been shocked because not a lot shocks me anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad at that. But I think I always want a middle ground. I don't want, like they mentioned earlier, the H2O. I see a knife stab and I cut to black or white.
Yeah.
I don't want I don't want that, but I want to see some gore.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be like reaching for the vomit bag kind of thing.
Yeah, you want a happy medium.
Yeah.
And there's a very interesting thing with something like what Heart Eyes does pretty well is that it knows it's campy. So the gore that comes with it, even though it's not over the top like squirts, but you sit there going, yeah, that's gross. But then you deserve that because you're not doing gross all the time.
Okay.
But you sit there going like, oh, an eye popped out from that sequence, and you start laughing at it because it's like you almost like you didn't expect it to go slightly this gory, but it's not horrible.
Right.
You're laughing at it. You go like, you did that. Oh, I don't believe you did that.
Sounds like a good level. Then.
It's a good level.
Yeah.
Doing camp gore is very difficult because it has to be so over the top that it's unbelievable. Or you do it, or it's so silly that you don't care how bloody it is. It's hilarious.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a nice middle ground.
I've always thought that with comedy horror, it should be a bit heavier on horror than comedy, in my personal taste. But it depends sometimes on the film. But if you're splitting it down the middle, it should be like 70% horror, that kind of thing.
So it's why Evil Dead 2 and 3 work very well. Although Evil Dead 2 works very well. Evil Dead 3 decided to go the opposite end and make 70% comedy.
Yes.
Which is still funny, but it's not a horror movie anymore.
No.
But yeah, to look back a little bit on Heart Eyes, another thing as well is like you got our villain. The mask is very iconic at this point. I think that will be something that'll be used over and over again.
Glowing eyes.
Glowing red heart eyes. It's hilarious. And you know, he's got the look. He's got like knives with hearts on them. He kills people with Cupid's arrow. It's got a lot of good little tidbits into it. It feels like it isn't going to be an iconic character per se. I think the mask will do well.
Yeah.
But it's not iconic because it doesn't it's like, because he's not entirely like a Jason Voorhees, but you know how Jason Voorhees, he's not really a character, he's a force. Okay. He's a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. Like, he has no character other than, he has no personality other than just like he's an undead zombie that'll come and murder you, right? Yeah. A Heart Eyes Killer has a little bit of this. It has a playfulness, because obviously he wants to do things with romance, and there's like suddenly rose petals around a beating heart, for example, or other bits like that. But so he's not going to be iconic. I think The Mask will, though.
Okay, and this is also going back to the 90s, noughties revival of slashers. This is a whodunit, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. So it's got a little whodunit because they're trying to find who it is. But it isn't like we have all the layers of the suspects. In fact, the joke in the movie is that we always think it's someone we know.
Right.
I'm not going to ruin it, but then when it happens and the reveal happens, I laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those going like, oh, that guy.
I know, it's funny because in Scream, when I first saw Scream 2, you got the whole 2 killer reveal again, like in the first movie. But you get one and it's like, it's the obvious one, and it's that guy. And like, it was quite a character in quite a lot of scenes, but at the same time, it's like, when it's revealed, it's not like a big moment, because it's like, oh, that one, that side character. Like,
no, but the way the movie does it as a joke, I love in that one, it's like saying, you're supposed to keep an eye on everybody. It's like, but that guy was like in 2 sequences. They do a very similar thing in Heart Eyes as well. Not on the reveal per se, but the way they perceive like this character. And then it's like, this character's supposed to be a big thing. It's like, and everyone knew, it's like, really? I think I already saw you once.
Yeah.
And you are supposed to be the something. It's great stuff. So that's what I mean, like, the killer is not the thing here. It's everything else around it.
Okay.
That makes it iconic in that sense. But yeah, it's that's why I mean, like, don't take it seriously. It's dumb. Because the way they get to how the reveals happen, this whodunit or whatever it is, it's dumb as bricks. It's not what it's supposed to be. I mean, yeah.
So you'd recommend it then?
I recommend it. Yeah. I recommend it for a giggle. Because it's fun, it's silly, it's almost cringeworthy at points because of how it's laying it sometimes so thick. Okay. But you laugh because you go like, oh my God, you're really leaning into this one, aren't you? Okay.
Cool. So is it recommended for a horror fan or any person?
I would say, okay, so it's not scary enough per se to put off like the public, right? Because the movie isn't scary. It's gory. It's a hard 18 for some reasons. Woo! But I find the murders to be funny.
Okay.
But then I'm weird like that. So what can I say about me? As a horror fan, I like it because it leads into the horror tropes.
Yeah.
If anything, this movie is perfect for people who hate rom-coms.
Oh, great. That's good then.
If you're someone who genuinely hate rom-coms and hate all the stereotypical beats of a rom-com, how this movie leads into it heavy and then just says, why don't we just murder all these people?
Well, I don't know, because I like some rom-coms as comfort viewing, but I also hate other ones, so it could work for me.
I think it leads into the idea that if you've seen any rom-com, like the meet cute and, and how they fall in love through traversity despite we don't like each other. Oh, we're doing, whatever it is, but now they fall in love and now you're the love of my life and we're chasing each other down the airport. The whole thing.
Yeah.
It does a literal romantic comedy plotline, but now there's a horrible serial killer in between all that.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
I recommend having a look, and I would love to see a review. But like I said, for me, it's a 3, maybe 3.5 hearts out of 5. Like, it's not going to revolutionize things. Yeah. I will watch it every so often. Might get on DVD. But it's one of those where it's like, I'm not going to go and I say, oh, you have to watch it. It's the best thing ever. It's recommended for people who hate rom-coms, who like camp gore. So not like, oh, I want to see the guts. I want, or people like, oh, too squeamish. You need someone who laughs at really over-the-top gory bits.
Yeah.
You want some of those. And someone who just doesn't mind having a bit of fun and poking fun of itself. It's very self-aware in some cases, and it does it really nicely. And so that's the kind of audience. That's why it's 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. All right then. So in the comments, let us know what your favourite Valentine's Day themed horror is.
Yes. Or maybe put it in the comments, which holiday that hasn't had a horror movie should have a horror movie. Yeah.
There's probably loads of American ones, like Labour's Day or something.
I bet you could go even weirder, more obscure. You could go to Hanukkah. Hanukkah, the murder mystery. I'd be down for something like that. Hanukkah, you kill someone. You could do these things.
Yeah.
So why not?
Also, in the comments, because now we're doing Cult versus Current again, if you can think of a movie a new movie that you want to compare to old movies, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, that'll be good. We'll get a good selection going. So yeah, thank yous.
Okay, right. See you next time on Enigmatic Retro Rewind. Take care, guys.
Adios.
Fancy supporting Retro Rewind in the best possible way? Head over to buymeacoffee.com/Harvey Retro and choose from 2 options to unlock exclusive full movie and album commentary videos by yours truly and guests. Select membership and join Harvey's AV Club for £3 a month. Trivia, anecdotes, and even drinking games will be on the cards with these special commentary episodes. Or, if you'd rather, just say thank you without joining the club, select support and buy us a VHS tape, which is a single £5 contribution, and don't forget to tell us which classic you're adding to our library, as it might inspire me to review that movie in future. And that's it.